or we can wait. Let me turn on the captions. English. Testing 1, 2, 3. Put it. Okay.
Unconfirmed bearish signal.
So Jamal, I'm curious if we're going to hit that 815. You got 503 contracts there. Let's see. And there you go. Well, the market closes at 5, but as it stands right now, in terms of the New York stock market,
bearish signal.
It is closed. So it's around the 840 mark that it has been closed. So, all right. So Jamal and Sharp Scalper, you can ask whatever questions that you want to ask. As it stands right now, we're just going to wait. Actually, let me post up. See everyone. In the Zoom early if you want to join in. Let's have that sent out. Alrighty. Actually, Jamal, I don't see a camera or a speaker icon right next to your name. Can you hear me though? You can type on chat. So while we're waiting for everyone else, let's take a look at, oh, why can I not move this? Oh, come on, here we go. Let's look at next week's calendar. Next. So next week in the morning we have Chicago PMI. Why is it showing just one date? Apply. Here we go. Here we go. So this is what we're looking at for next week. Chicago PMI is expected to rise a little bit. Tuesday is going to be a big one at 10 o'clock as you have the ISM manufacturing and JOLTS job opening. Wednesday morning will be the ADP non-farm employment. So actually, we're going to have employment. The emphasis will be employment from Wednesday to Friday because you have the ADP NFP. On Thursday, you have the unemployment claims. as well as the ISM services PMI. That's a red folder, so that's going to be big. And then on Friday, we may have potential fireworks, depending on where we are on the hourly earnings. I think hourly earnings would actually be, higher. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in at 0.4 as well, because wage inflation is definitely there. Non-farm employment change is 200K. And at the present time, I really don't have an opinion one way or the other. I think the big one really is going to be Wednesday, the NFP, the ADP non-farm employment change, because the expectation is that it's going to go down from basically 500 million, half a million, down to 195K. And that's a radical change. So if there is any potential for variance, it would be there, because to go from 500K to 195, that is a huge move. It's not a stair-step thing. So that's going to surprise one way or the other. And I'll be very, very careful with that one. Thankfully, it's going to be before the market opens at 8:15 a.m. So without that, since we are recording this and nobody else has joined us yet, it's 4:05. We got time. For the sake of recording and putting up on YouTube, let me record for everyone the basic setup. So once you get the setup and you load the workstation, you should be able to see something along these lines like that. Okay, and the best way to go about it is you want to go. I'm just going to keep it disarmed. Okay, so you want it armed, obviously. You want it auto, PTC long, short, instrument, one quantity, and you can run and then account info. Okay, so when you have it set up like this, you're basically ready to run the auto trader. And typically you want to run the auto trader maybe as early as 5:30 in the morning, or if not 5:30 in the morning, then 7 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so that's where the pre-market traders come in for the U.S. market, as well as the European market being open at that time. So this is probably the most basic way for you to be able to run it. If you want a trend filter, okay, this follows the trend filter right down here. So you see it green and red, and whenever you have the trend filter, it basically means that if the trend is bearish or red, it would only take the short entries, and if it's green, it'll only take the long entries, either just straight up long or a pattern trend change. That's what PTC means. Now, if you want to be safer, you click confirmation filter. And when you click the confirmation filter, it allows you to wait. So it'll give you, here's an example right here. So it'll give you a bullish sign like right here. Okay. So that is a purple diamond that says, hey, it has turned bullish. Okay. But if you have the confirmation filter, it will not enter until either this arrow or that arrow. I believe this arrow right here. Okay. So if you have a confirmation filter off,
unconfirmed bullish PTC signal,
it'll enter here. Okay. It will not enter during unconfirmed positions like the diamonds right there. Okay. So that's another way to kind of play it safe right there. Okay. So if you have it like this, The auto trader will decide when to get in, when to get out altogether, or when to reverse. Okay, it does it automatically. More often than not, I notice it reversing rather than just getting out. And the beauty of that is that human trading just cannot do that. It cannot do it as fast as the auto trader does, and it cannot make the decisions as fast as the auto trader does. That's why when you see a lot of the playbacks that Kyle has recorded and placed it both on the announcement as well as the daily playback,
PTC signal.
You'll see, and if you watch it pretty much in real time, you'll see it how it turns very, very quickly. Okay, it'll pick up that trend and it'll reverse it, and sometimes just exit, and that's it. Okay, so that is the setup that you want to be able to have. Now, this is without an ATM strategy. You're basically saying, dear auto trader, you decide when to get in, when to get out, and things like that. Now, we've had some people comment that sometimes when you don't have an ATM strategy, the auto trader just waits too long to get out of a winning position. Okay. In the long run, that evens itself out, because oftentimes that winning position that you try to maximize happens to be a bullish flag, and the moment you get out, what happens? It continues flying. But the auto trader stays in there. Okay, and that's one of the ways that on a big trending day, you'll be able to get 200, 300, 500, 800 ticks just with one single trade. And we have seen many people post up, those type of winnings when there is a strong trending day. Not like today. Today wasn't super trending other than the morning right here. From pre-morning all the way up to like noon. After that, it's been up and down, and I certainly regret coming in and trading when I was all green. I definitely overtraded. I should have just stopped. Now, if you do want to have an ATM strategy on it, all you need to do is click this, and it'll put on the particular ATM strategy that you have. And there are many. Okay, I have several. The 4288 is what we call I call it the Magic Mike setup. The 2642 is mine. Okay, so basically what that means is I have a 42 stop loss, but the moment it hits a profit of 26, I have it automatically snapping into break even plus 3 ticks. Okay, so that way I
confirmed bearish signal.
I make some money. It's a winning trade, and if it hits it, then it's not a negative for me, but hopefully it doesn't hit it and it'll continue running. Okay. For the few times where it actually hits it, the opportunity cost is that I'm going to miss, a big run, because I've already been kicked out. Okay. And then, the other one is, I call it the auto ATM. And Otto, one of our traders, have been
bearish signal
instrumental in giving us that setup. I hope many of you have picked it up and started using that. That really, in short, it maximizes your profits and minimizes your losses. Okay, and that's what you want to be able to do when you are trading funded companies, is to maximize your wins and minimize your losses. That is pinned under Obsidian chat. So if you go there and you look at the pin icon, just click the pin, and you'll see Otto's setup right there. All you got to do is, instead of manually doing it, you can just download it automatically and upload it into your NinjaTrader, and voila, you're good to go. So without further ado, I wanted to take this opportunity to get to talk to Otto, interview him briefly. Hello, Otto. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. And I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to everybody else. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, are you German because of your name Otto? And what's your background on trading?
Oh, well, I'm from Michigan, the Lower Peninsula. My name is not actually Otto. That is my pseudonym online.
Okay.
It's a play on words from a clarinet mouthpiece manufacturer. And it was a great eBay handle for selling used instruments. I had a part-time business a long time ago with my father, buying and reselling musical instruments on eBay, and that's how it all kind of started.
Fantastic.
So it's easy to keep it rolling when that's your primary Gmail account.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got into trading back in 2020 with options, and that burned me in ways I can't really speak to on the phone.
Okay.
So I went to futures to burn myself even harder than with options. But it's an easier learning curve with futures because you find out that you're wrong or you're right really fast.
Yeah.
Options might take you a few days. Futures will take you a few seconds. If you're on the wrong side of a news report at 8:30, when the news embargo lifts, you'll find out real fast that you're on the wrong side of the market. But it's also been really good at teaching me patience and discipline and risk management. I'm not saying that I've learned those lessons, but at least they're teaching.
So what do you like about futures in relation to trading options?
A couple of things. Pattern day trading rule, for one.
Yes.
You don't need that. The only options that you can trade without PDT are options on futures, not to be confused with options on the index products themselves.
Right.
So if you're going to trade options and not worry about pattern day trading rule, then trade options on futures. I use Tastyworks for that. They're a decent broker and platform to use, but in the long run, that's not the way I want to go. Especially since futures, you can make your money real fast and you can actually make more of it. I mean, in the long run, yes, options, you can make a lot more money because you can get into better leverage positions, but most of us are starting out cash poor. So for those of us starting out cash poor, it's a lot easier to go the futures route, and there are a lot more prop firms offering futures trading than there are offering options trading or stock trading.
Yeah, that is correct. Wonderful. So Otto, tell us how you found out about Obsidian and what are one or two things that you're really liking about the Auto Trader.
So I found out about Obsidian through a group of trading cohorts who have been brought together from various other indicator and trading bot vendors, one of whom is not exactly comparable, but we all pretty much had the same experience with that particular vendor, and kind of vowed never again to be hoodwinked at that 4 figures a month price level.
Yeah.
So we set out to pretty much trial and go through every other indicator and bot vendor that we could find that even has a slim positive reputation. And so I think it was KevDog who said, "Hey guys, check out Obsidian."
Okay.
When he did that,
we were like we're new kids in the block. So
you are.
Uh-huh.
You are. So a couple of things I definitely like about Obsidian. Things aren't super crazy overcomplicated. It's fairly straightforward. The types of confluence and trade filters that you're applying, and the rule of simpler is better definitely applies, especially when it comes to trading. I mean, if you wait for, collecting all 9 Dragon Balls in order to take a trade, you're not going to have it. And like Max showcases on his trade recaps and trade videos all the time, you have a couple of very simple setups like breaking a super trend and then a confirmation signal and you get in, that's the make or break right there. If you can just sit there and wait for the thing to happen and then either click the button or let the automation do it itself, away you go. I think one of the more inspiring things was Kyle set up and did a bunch of back testing on the 5-minute and the 2-minute Heikin-Ashi timeframes, and just let it go one contract to see what it would do. And I think the worst day reported in the recap was a loss of $600 on a single mini, just letting it run from 9 or 9:30 until close. If you avoid the 8:30 news embargo lift and just kick it off between 9 and 9:30 with a couple of micros, like Kyle said, you can pretty much ace any single futures trading prop firm challenge that you want to ace. And you can just actually leave it run all day and not have to worry about the outcome. Because there's no way that even running it on the auto with the confirmation filters, the way Kyle set it up, there's just no way you're going to blow out even the smallest of the drawdowns, which is I think $1,500. You would have to have 3 consecutive days of that max loss that we've seen of 500, which is a single day on a single mini, in order for that to happen. So I'm not saying that it's statistically impossible, because nothing is statistically impossible, but the probability is so low that you'll probably throw it out of a Monte Carlo simulation anyway.
Oh, so you're familiar with Monte Carlo. That's great. Okay.
A little bit. I've never been there, but when it comes to trading.
Yeah, if you go there, then you lose everything. But,
exactly.
So tell us about your ATM. What's your philosophy behind it? How'd you come up with it?
So the ATM was a little bit of a Frankenstein from another indicator vendor who uses a different style of Renkos. And they were basically doing mean reversion trading. So you get an excursion outside of some sort of range binding bands, not quite Bollinger Bands, but something along those lines. You get an excursion and notification that you've gotten that excursion happening, and you've got a reversal candle, and then you'd be looking to take a buy or sell signal based on that reversal candle, and then actually crossing a trend magic line. And so then you'd get a diamond indicator to take the trade, and away you would go. The thing with that is sometimes you would sit through a huge chunk of drawdown before you would get a win, or it would go somewhat into profit and then pull back. And what I found is with that 30, 60, 90 and the smaller Renko time frame, you could withstand about that much pullback without getting stopped out. And if it was going to pull back farther than that, you might as well stop, because it's going to keep going in the wrong direction against you. So it gave you enough breathing room to get the trade going, kind of like what Max does. And then from there, it takes a couple of targets off, and then it will slowly move your stop further and further into profit. It was kind of designed to survive, a 50K or 150K Apex account, so that you're not giving up all of the upper end of that profit and losing out on all of your trailing drawdown threshold.
So do you find using Max's parameters with your auto ATM successful?
I haven't done a whole lot since my free trials expired, but when I was running it with the trial, running it on the max bars, the 8, 20, 40, using 16, 40, 80 with Confluence, would definitely get you the trades you wanted to take. I really like the first pullback to the super trend or the trend magic lines, and then resumption of trend. I'm 100% with Max on momentum trading is the way to go. You want to take those trades when the market is moving and moving in your direction. It's a lot easier than trying to nail the end of a pullback. Catching that falling knife is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And having that little bit of room to breathe, but then starting to take some profits quickly, not only rewards you for taking a good trade setup, but it keeps you from just getting punished trying to hold for big moves. We know that NQ will move big, but we don't know when it's going to make that. So a lot of times it's better to get a couple of contracts off in profit and then trail to see what else you can squeeze out of it, instead of sitting there and hoping that you're going to get that 100-point runner.
Yep. So that is the blessing and the curse of NQ for sure. Okay. Well, thank you, Otto, for your time. Let me open it up to questions. Anybody have questions for Otto in regards to the ATM, or comments if you've already started using the ATM?
No, I have a question for you, CJ.
Sure.
There's another question. You have sent me a message, but I can find it. Where can I find it? A link.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to send it to you. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was in trade all day, and then I had the honeydew bliss with my wife and kids.
Okay.
Yeah, but I sent you the Zoom link, so we'll get together then and go over anything that you need to. Good. Any questions for Otto? You can chat. You can type it on chat if for some reason your speaker is not working. We have Daniel here, Derek, Grace, Joseph, Ramesh is new, Sharp Scalper is new, V, and Diana. Welcome. Everybody else has been here. Otto is a trading beast. Hey, kudos. 2 thumbs up, Otto. Sharp Scalper is getting to know your trading style. That's awesome. Hey, Max, you want to update us on your strategy? Because Otto had mentioned how you're doing it, and if you can give us any other insights on that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Appreciate it. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Otto for being so helpful to the group, answering questions. He's helping me out too with a bunch of things. So really appreciate you, Otto, for being such a team player.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about being part of Obsidian, right? Obviously, it's a new community, and we're all, taking steps to become better traders, optimizing our processes, and, we can all learn from one another. So it's definitely awesome to be here. I'll tell you what, my trading has improved like 20x since being part of Obsidian. And I don't think I would have the consistency that I have today if it wasn't for the tools and for the community. So I just want to, show my attitude of gratitude to CJ and Kyle.
Well, glad to have you, man.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm really thankful for, all of it. It's just really changed the way I trade. It's really gotten me aligned with the market in terms of what Otto was referring to. No, it's not magic, right? And that's the key. Like, I think a lot of times we second guess ourselves. We second guess the signals from the indicators and stuff like that. And I think what it boils down to is just repetition. I think the reason why I've been able to pretty rapidly transform my trading is because when I first got started with Obsidian, I did not wait for anyone to tell me what to do or how to do it. I already, I felt like I had a good foundation, a good knowledge base of trading. I was a price action trader. But I understood, like, okay, the only way I'm going to build consistency is if I have confidence. And the only way I'm going to build confidence is through competence. And so what I just spent time doing was just really going back and looking at the charts, doing market replay, watching Kyle's videos, jumping on these Friday Zooms, being part of the live streams. And, after I would say my first month of being with Obsidian, I was able to actually not just get funded, but actually get a withdrawal which, in all transparency, I had never been able to do that with a prop firm. On my own accounts, no problem. But with a prop firm, never was able to do that. So I just want to let you guys know that, right? I'm not here to, act like, oh, I'm some millionaire trader, because that's not the case. It's just been the last couple of months that everything's changed for me, So in terms of the process, all it really is just seeing the pattern over and over and over again. And I make it my job to look for the same type of setups, right? And, I've learned my lesson trying to predict the change, the reversal. I've learned my lesson trying to trade against momentum. So, if I were to look at the days where I kill it and the days I don't, it's because I'm not following my rules. And there's only one rule that if you stick by, in my opinion, I mean, obviously everyone can be different here, or at least with the bar periods I'm using, 16, 40, 80, 8, 20, 40, the rule's real simple. If we're above the 50 SMA, you're not selling. You're looking for buy opportunities. If you're below the 50 SMA, you're only then you're looking for sell opportunities. That's it. And once I wrote it and just got it ingrained in my head, and honestly, I still mess up, right? I still try to, sometimes I'll get caught up in being fancy with it, all right? Try to be cute with my trading and then end up learning. I'm like, oh, got smacked, right? Should have just followed the rules. And that's really all it is, guys. If you just stick, to the whatever that play is going to be for you, and I think I've narrowed it down to about 2 or 3 setups that's allowed me to consistently, hit my daily profits and do it with low stress. So for you guys who are doing this, you're just going to have to just put in the time and get that repetition and do the market replays, listen to the coaches, and there's no doubt that you'll make that turn the same way I did, and I'm super excited because I know that this is just the beginning and I'm excited to be able to share it. And honestly, everything that I'm doing is not to take away from Obsidian. I'm just trying to give back. So what's working for me, I'm putting all the stuff out there for free on YouTube or whatever, because I know how powerful these tools are. It's changed my trading. I know it can change your trading. So, but I'm here to help out. Any questions you guys have, obviously just hit me up. I'm here.
Yeah, definitely. And Max has been helpful to a lot of people. So feel free to reach out to him and get his help. He is more than happy to help. Now, with Max, like he shared, he is a veteran trader. He is long in the tooth. But being part of Obsidian and having the Auto Trader just brought his personal trading to a higher level. So that goes, that easily moves to my my main point, being that Obsidian is not a crutch. Obsidian is not like a money printing machine where you just turn it on and just let it do. It's a tool. Okay, you have to use it like a tool. And I know already we have some questions about, how can I make $200 to $300 a day, each and every single day? Can you do? Well, first of all, you can do it. Second of all, it can be much higher than that. But number 3, please understand this. If you're expecting to just press a button and just let it do everything for you, this is not going to do it for you. Some days it just doesn't work. Some days are very choppy. The price action is just not there. Okay. So you need to be a student of trading. You need to know your support levels, your fib levels, your Fibonacci pivots, things like that. We have videos under the education tab where you can learn that stuff. Plus you have the live trading where you can listen to different traders. I wouldn't call us coaches per se, but really just people who are trading very openly and visibly, showing you our wins and losses. And you're just watching people trade over their shoulder. Having said that, again, terms and conditions, past performance does not guarantee future performance or future results. When you see people going in and out of trades on live trading, it is not a recommendation for you to go in and get out. Okay, it's ultimately your decision to get in when you want to get in, size up or size down when you want to do so. And the only way for you to get better and better at it is practice, practice, practice. back testing. Weekends are not for you to take off. Weekends are for you to study and become better at your craft. Max has taken it to the next level. So you want to learn from people like Max. Okay? So other questions. Let's see. Yeah, so you can use ATMs or not ATMs. If whichever one that you're going to back test, do the back testing on a SIM account. Do not use real money, please. And get comfortable with it before you start trading your evaluation or your PA accounts. Now, Max, since you are, have already been trading and, you are ahead of the curve than most people, when somebody says, hey, I'm a veteran trader, I don't need an auto trader for myself because that's just too basic for me. How would you answer somebody like that?
Well, I think at the end of the day, you just have to look at your goal, right? What is your trading goal? Look at the results. Look at where you're currently at, what your goal is, and understand like, hey, adding these tools, is it going to take away from what you're currently doing, or is it going to add value to what you're doing? So for me, I came from the complete opposite. I had no indicators on my charts before. I had maybe a moving average, and that was it. I was trading the ICP, Smart Money Concepts, supply demand, stuff like that, Al Brooks, just, naked charts. Nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah. At the end, what I realized was I'm a human. And because I'm human, I make errors. So I never had a problem reading the market. Like I was always in sync with, oh yeah, the market's going to go here today. It's going to go do this, go do that. But where I struggled was the emotions and execution. That was the biggest thing, the execution, the ability to get in at the exact moment, at the exact time, every time. See, that's the thing. Everybody can take a good trade here and there, but to be able to execute consistently, no matter what, in any condition, in any emotional state, right? That's the key. And that's the power of an auto trader because it removes the human element, right? And so when I first started using it, it was like I would actually be afraid to take a trade and the bot would just get me in. And I'd be like, oh boy, I don't know if I would take this trade. And obviously I'd be like, oh my goodness. But then I learned to just let go. Because at the end, when it comes to trading, if you want to be successful at this, you have no effect on the outcome of that trade. Right? It's either going to work or it's not going to work. But just know that the bot's going to execute based on a series of parameters. And when those parameters are met, it's a green light to execute. Right? Yeah. And it's not going to second guess itself. The bot's not going to get tired. The bot's not going to sit there and be like, well, what did the news say? Right? The bot's going to do what the bot does. And I learned because I used that bot. It helped me make money. It helped me pass my combines and my evaluations and all that. It taught me something. It showed me how I could still be good at reading the market, but it really sharpened my edge when it came to execution. So now what I'll do is I have the bot off, right? But then once I start seeing my setup unfold, I turn the bot on. I turn it on. So why do I have to sit there and wait to execute? I'll just let the bot do it because I'm already in sync with the bot. Like the setups I'm taking, the bot's going to take anyways. I'm just turning it on and off at certain time periods because I know what I'm looking for and I know what I'm trying to accomplish. So for a veteran trader, there's always room for improvement. If you're not making $1 million a month yet, trading, still room for improvement.
That's a good point. That is a fantastic point. So everybody who's listening, and the ones who are going to be listening on recording, please focus on what he has just said. Okay. If you leave the bot on in the long run from, morning to night, at the end, you will end up with positive numbers most of the time as the playback has shown. But what Max is able to do is because he already knows how to trade. He already knows what he is looking for. Okay. He will turn it on when it's just about the ideal time to do it. And let the bot enter, okay? Because it'll do it faster than you, And if you happen to catch an email or, your wife is calling you and you have to take your attention away for the moment, that opportunity may run away from you and you don't want to FOMO. Okay. The bot will enter it for you. Okay. And, even this morning, when we had a major run, like out of nowhere, everything was just that it was getting boring. And then all of a sudden it went, okay? Just that one time, if it only happens one time in 1 month and you are able to enter that could be the difference between having a $200 profit versus a $1,000 profit. And that one time is well worth having the auto trader, even though that does not happen for the rest of the month. Just that one time is well worth it. But here's the reality of it is that it happens every single day. Sometimes multiple times. It happens almost every single day. Yeah, almost every single day. Where you're not paying attention, the right time comes in, the bot puts you right in, and the next thing you know is you're just like flying like a rocket. And you took off with the rocket. Okay. How many of you have missed the rocket? Every one of you, right? I have. I certainly have. And then once the rocket is off, what happens? You're like, I don't know what I should do. I don't want to jump in now. If I jump in now, what if it reverses? And then 5 minutes later, the darn thing has gone up another 20 points. What are you thinking at that point? Oh my gosh, I should have taken it. And some people go, hey, maybe he has more room. And you go, click. And what does the market maker do to you the moment you go click? Oh, CJ just came into the trade. Hey, everybody, let's go the other way. And then it stops you out. Believe you me, that happens so often. I feel like they know my name and, they have it out against me. Okay. The bot helps you avoid all of that stuff. So most definitely. You missed the rocket today. Well, Otto, if you had the bot on and working for you, you would not have missed it. For sure. So, I think, Magic Mike hit like $3,000 today. I wasn't, there. This is, and I'll show you my numbers, those of you who were in my channel. There are several lessons for this. Okay, lesson number 1. Had I stopped at 11 o'clock, all of this would be positive. These would be, around the 200, actually between 170 to about $350 plus. These would all be $1,000 plus right here. Had I just stopped and took the ball and walked away. Okay. But when I came back, I overtraded it. Okay. So bad on me. But as I overtraded it, okay, things got really, really negative. The top one went to minus $2,000 at one point. I was getting emotional. I was getting flustered. I was tempted to revenge trade, but I didn't. I just kept the bot on and let the bot enter. And because the bot was able to enter on some key areas, I was able to bring down my losses from, minus $2,600 to just, I was, it's been a while since I've been happy to only lose, $180 to $280 per account. Okay. I'm not happy with this trade because I'm only up 500 when I should be up like 1,500, 2,000. So that's what the bot does. Okay. It allows you to take the emotion away from trading, just as Max had said. Okay. So, that's the beauty of it. There's really, nothing to it. It is again a tool. It is not a money printing machine. You still need to know how to trade. And in order for you to know how to trade, you need to learn. You need to be a student. Okay. So, get an MBA in, trading, futures. And the beauty of trading futures is that, and I still trade stocks and options for my client. I have, 2 doctor clients out of North Carolina that, I manage it. Okay. But the thing with that is that not only do I have to know the Greeks of, what is a theta, what is implied volatility, what is all that stuff, but I need to know like as many as 4,000 different stocks. And when I look at a chart of a stock, I need to make a quick decision whether or not it's worth getting into or not, whether I should size in or not. The beauty of futures is that if, for example, you choose to trade only NQ, okay, and if you're brand new, by the way, my suggestion would be to start with ES. The E-mini is a little bit steadier and less crazy. But if you only need to know NQ, and you can study it in and out, you can look at the levels, and look at the previous levels and previous weeks and things like that, you'll get to know NQ, its rhythm and its heartbeat, okay, eventually. And so you'll know, you'll have a better idea as to where you are in this ocean of things, okay? So learn, be a student of the market, and the beauty of futures is that you can know as little as just one index and really, really go deep and get to know it. All righty? So with that in mind, let's see, some questions. Yeah, we're getting a lot of answers to a lot of those questions on the chat, which is awesome. We do want to give you some updates in regards to a little glitch that we're running into. Kyle, are you able to talk right now and kind of give us an update?
Yeah, I can talk. I encountered other people that don't even run the bot that have multiple orders, but I still have not isolated the issue. But for the time being, make sure that you have your quantity safety on. So if this does happen, it'll save your ass and you'll get flattened out and it'll shut itself off. But until then, if you have any issues, just send me a DM, submit to me your log files and your trace files, and I can look further into that.
Okay, to dovetail to what Kyle has said, we have the quantity safety measure in there is it's a stoppage point, okay? Because there are some bots out there that are in the 4 figures. You have to pay 4 figures a month to use their bots. And we've heard stories of people blowing up their $100,000, their $250,000 account because the bot all of a sudden got into not 1 or 2 contracts, but like 10 to 30
signal
contracts. And it just kept on replicating itself, and it just blew them up, okay? So for that reason, we have this quantity safety measure on. So right now, it's for 3 contracts with an ATM. When you have quantity safety on and you walk away, you went to the restroom or your wife needed to really, really talk to you and it was urgent and you were stepping out. Having this will prevent you from getting in more than the amount of contracts that you want to get into. Okay. Now, having said that, and Jamal had a same situation take place this afternoon. When you return from your trades, okay, make sure that you turn off the quantity safety off. Okay, because let's say, for example, you are here and you just saw it going into a trade, and you're like, hey, that is bouncing off a very strong support. This is the 618 fib, and there's a lot of price action. There's a lot of movement. It's above so-and-so, and all the indicators of blase. Okay, and you want to size up. And the moment you hit, buy 3 additional contracts, the next thing that happens is you get flattened out. It kicks you out completely. Why? Because it violated the quantity safety rule. Okay? So it'll flatten you out if you add anything manually. Okay? And rightly so, because you don't want the bot to do that. And more importantly, you don't want your copy trader to do that. Okay? So if you have Replicanto or Apex, I have both. Both of them run into the issue where if you have a trade taking place and you manually are moving up the stop loss, all right? So pretend, here you go. So pretend this is the stop loss.
Order submitted.
Okay? And you are manually moving it this way. Somewhere along the way, if you are fairly close to the price, let me get out of this one. If you're fairly close to the price as you move your stop loss, okay, and there is a delay between one account to another, the trade copier will interpret that as a limit entry, not as a moving of your stop loss, okay, but as a limit entry. And if it hits, you will get into the opposite trade. You will. And the only way for you to know whether or not you trade is if you go to positions right here, and you got to make sure that all of this is empty. If it is not, that means the trade copier more than likely puts you into a trade because your stop loss functioned as a limit order. That happened to me this morning, and I know why. And the reason it happened is because I manually moved the stop loss. Now, how do you avoid that with Replicanto and Apex trade copier? It may be, Kyle, some of the issues that people may have brought up. It's not so much the auto trader, but actually the copier. Okay.
It would not be the copier. All right. Because
it wasn't the copier. You're for sure. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. All right. This submits market orders, so you wouldn't have any issues with the trade copier.
Gotcha. No problem.
Other bots would run into the issue where your follower account would get a fill, but your leader account would get a fill, but your followers wouldn't. And then it would reverse on your ATM OCO. But that doesn't happen with this because it submits market orders. Now, the issue with the orders is that it's creating multiple orders on entry. That means something is getting it to hang up right on the order entry thing before the flag can be reset so that the bot only knows it submitted one. Now, I've been running this for 8 months, never encountered the issue, can't replicate it on my end. No one's ever reported any behavior like this. And then all of a sudden yesterday I had 3 reports of it. Okay. Now, I'm seeing a SQL database error in trace logs, and what I believe could be causing the problem is potentially the news indicator. Because that's the only thing that's taking in new information each day and printing it out. And I did see an error from the news indicator on that until I could figure out what exactly happened. Make sure you have your quantity safety on. And I would probably keep your news indicator off for the time being until I can solve that. But that's where I'm at right now.
TC signal.
I troubleshooted Sub-Zero's thing yesterday. And what it could be happening is I believe maybe there's a threading issue. Maybe someone has 2 instances of ADDTS up at one time and doesn't know it. If you have another workspace open, it's going to act just like that works, just like there's 2 instances. Everything in those separate workspaces is running just like it's running on your open workspace. So that may be what's happening here, and the users aren't aware of it. Because Sub-Zero encountered the issue yesterday, and I went in and troubleshooted it for him, and so far he hasn't had any issues with it since. I made sure that he only had one workspace open, one instance up, and he hasn't had any issues since. So that could be it, but for the time being, I would just make sure you have your quantity safety on.
Yeah.
So it'll flatten everything out for you if this does happen.
Yeah. So, safety, risk management, safety. So even something like this is, a safety issue. And, on another note, that's, not really Auto Trader related, but if you do use Replicanto or Apex, please don't change the accounts in the middle of the day, okay? Because inevitably you'll move an account and then on another tab, you have it copying as a master account, and the next thing you know is that you'll see, one contract going to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, and it just keeps multiplying itself because it's in this vicious cycle. Okay, I have done that, and that was 100% my fault because I was, messing around with the account numbers and the lead account on different tabs, and switching it from MNQ to NQ to ES, MES, dumb,
I'm just from bullish.
stupid things to
Signal.
be doing. So if you are going to finagle, play around with that, do it, during off market, and make sure you write it down actually on a piece of paper so you know which one is the lead, which accounts are copying that particular lead, and making sure that there is no overlap. You don't want, account number 23 being copied by both. And especially you don't want account 23 to be the lead account in another tab. That's what's going to really mess you up. So all of that stuff, if you do it on a SIM account or an eval account, it won't hurt. Evals won't cost you much. But boy, you do that on a PA and it'll cost you dearly. Okay? So I could have bought a Mercedes with the mistake that I've made with my blowing up 19 PA accounts. Now, remember, oh boy, I have a feeling you have a bigger story.
Yes, sir, I do.
Oh boy.
It's not a competition. Put it that way.
Okay.
It's not a competition. If I may, though,
Go ahead.
one huge suggestion with Replicanto and even just loading up NinjaTrader is either write out a physical on a piece of notepaper checklist, or make a typed electronic one that is sitting on your desktop, and you go through that entire checklist every time you start up NinjaTrader or get ready to use a trade copier.
Yes.
Verify the account number is for the leader and follower. Verify any of the other tab settings. Verify that you have only the correct accounts selected. That you have the cross or the no cross checked if you're going to swap for minis and micros.
Yep.
But again, the same thing with your workspace. Double check all of your settings. What are my settings supposed to be? I know Kyle posted a picture, I think, of the bar at the top that shows the trend filter, confirmation filter, etc. Make sure you know what needs to be activated. Eventually, it will become second nature, but there's nothing wrong with leaving that piece of paper staring at you right next to your workspace, or that sticky note sitting there ever present on your computer desktop. And it will only, in the long run, save you from destroying your PA accounts. And also remember, there is no shame in only trade copying a handful of them at a time if you're going to run multiple.
Yeah, especially PAs, since you don't have a time expiration, trade them in different tranches for sure. So yeah, double amen and 2 thumbs up for what Otto is saying. He's speaking from experience. With that, let me see. Hey, by the way, thank you everyone for those who have your affiliates and you have been inviting your buddies to join us. We have been growing leaps and bounds. I believe we are now at we crossed over the 2,700 mark in the whole Discord. Not everybody is Obsidian, but I think pretty much the majority of people who are joining brand new are Obsidian. So thank you for getting the word out, number one, because we are still new kids on the block. Also, number two, thank you for those of you like Max and Otto and others, Tommy as well for helping out with the community and answering questions and helping new people when they're coming in with their auto trader and setting it up and answering their questions, because that's what creates a wonderful community of fellow traders that are helping each other out, and everybody gets to win. So with that, if you have any additional questions, please DM the respective people. We are going to call it a day at 4:58 p.m. so that way we can get out of here and have a wonderful weekend. So have a relaxing weekend, guys. I came back from Death in the Family, and I just want to encourage you guys, every day counts. Your health is your true wealth more than anything else. Please take care of yourselves, and God bless you, and we'll see you Monday.
Bye.